All right, we're gonna start getting into some real nasty malfunctions now. We're gonna be talking about the failure to eject, which is the step in the whole firing process of an M4 right before ejecting. If it doesn't extract, it's definitely not going to eject. The reason this sort of thing will happen will be like most of the time it's because of an extremely dirty chamber. Like the chamber walls are they're not smooth. So like when the cartridge gets fired and the brass expands into the chamber walls, it meets a lot of resistance when the bolt's trying to like extract it out of the chamber, and it may not have enough gas pressure or enough basically inertia to actually like pull that empty case out of there, so it stays in. Um, and Pretty much what's going to happen is your first sign that this is the case is you're going to have a dead trigger. So you're going to squeeze the trigger after you fire it around, and what's going to happen is nothing's going to happen. You're not even going to hear a click, because what has happened is the round has fired, the case is still in there, and the bolt never reciprocated. So the hammer never cocked. The hammer's still basically like straight up. So you got a dead trigger. So the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to have a dead, mushy trigger, and you're going to be like, what the fuck? So then probably what you're going to do is you're probably just going to naturally go to, well, actually, at some point in this process, you're probably going to try to put it on safe, and you're not going to be able to because, again, the hammer is uncocked. So that's really your first sign of what's going on. Your second sign will be when, if you're, if you don't have the presence of mind to identify it right there, with you not being able to put it on safe, you go ahead and you do your immediate action rather. You slap the magazine, you go to pull the charging handle, and you can't. You can't pull the charging handle because there's a casing stuck in there. It's still clipped onto the extractor from the bolt is still clipped onto the case, but it can't budge the case. So you're like, shit, I can't do anything. It's all jammed up. So here's what you do, all right? The way to fix this, if you're on the range, what you should do is immediately drop the magazine, because you're going to have to borderline point this weapon in an unsafe direction. If this is in combat, I won't even fucking bother with that. I would just go ahead and do exactly what I'm about to tell you. This is called mortaring the weapon, all right? So this is how you get a stuck case out of the chamber. You basically brute force it. Before you do this, what you want to make sure is the stock. You want to make sure that the stock is fully collapsed, okay? Because what you could do is if you have the stock out, that's clicked out like a little bit, and you go ahead and do this, there's a potential you could damage the stock mechanism. So in order to kind of like nip that in the bud and keep that from happening, you want to make sure the stock's fully collapsed, all right? So mortaring the rifle goes like this. What you're going to do is you're going to take it like so. You're going to go ahead and put rearward pressure on the charging handle, to make sure that it's like actually like the latch is disengaged from the upper receiver. And then what you're going to do is you don't even have to like go that hard in most cases. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to try to tap it on something that's hard, like the ground. Or if you're like nearby like some sort of like object or whatever, you can go ahead and tap it on that too. But it's got to have not that much give. So if you do it on the ground, you can go ahead and just like slam it on the ground while you're pulling the charging handle back. So it's going to go like this. So when you go ahead and do that, interesting. When you go ahead and do that, that should break the casing free of the chamber walls and get it to eject. At that point in time, if you're in the range, you go ahead and load back up and keep firing. Or if you're in combat and you still have the magazine in there, they should have just automatically put a fresh live round in the chamber, and then you just Charlie Mike go from there.